Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you're joining us today in today's live lecture coming to you from Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University. Today's date is Eke Market Day in the 4th month of the Igbo lunar calendar called Onwa Ano. Anyị nọ n'ọnwa nke ịnọ antata bụ eke bọchị eke n'ọnwa nke ịnọ n'Igbo lunar calendar. Igbo lunar calendar bụ eli ndị Igbo si agụ arọ. And today's date in the foreign Roman Catholic calendar is 5/29/2025. Remember, at Nkolo Mahadum, we always advise you to use your naturally given common sense, which we call Akonuche in Igbo language. And the major reason why Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University was established was to decolonize your mindset, your thinking, so that we can save you from mental slavery. Because all the information we've been getting, I got it myself. And so many people, so many generations were fed with miseducation and misinformation. And it continues to today. Therefore, we are asking you to join us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, and other social media platforms, because we package and present our lectures from an Igbo man, from Biafran and African perspectives. That is how you should be saying things, how you should be delivering information to our people, because you do not deliver information to our people like the Americans or the Russians or the Chinese or the Saudi Arabians or the UAEs and others. Very, 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 very important. Wherever you are getting your information is very important, because as soon as we are born, whatever we are seeing and hearing is what shapes us and what determines what we will be in future. What we are seeing and what we are hearing shapes our future life. And that is why it is very important that you refer your friends and well-wishers to join us at Nkolo Mahadum Wisdom University, where we lecture you, where we teach you things the way you should know them. And today, we shall continue our review of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu trial of 5/28 and 5/29. Do you know why we are following Mazi Nnamdi Kanu trial? Because Nnamdi Kanu is fighting to dismantle the colonial artificial boundaries in Africa. Because these colonial artificial boundaries imposed by the Western Europeans, Britain, Germany, Belgium, France, Italy, and others on Africa. That is the cause of all the sufferings that we are having. That is the cause of the poverty, the cause of migration, the cause of wars. So that is why we are following Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, to support him in this fight to dismantle these colonial boundaries. So the title of today's lecture is the review of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu trial of 5/28 yesterday and 5/29 today, which is showing that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB are right, and the Nigerian DSS are lying. That's what it is showing. That is what we want to explain to you, for you to know that this is what is going on. And we have to go straight to yesterday's trial, how it went. Remember, the trial is being held at the Federal High Court in Abuja, presided over by Justice James Omotosho, and the prosecution counsel is led by is led by Awomolo, and the Defense Council of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is led by Kanu Agabi son. And when they came yesterday, both the prosecution team and the defense team were ready to go. And the prosecution team, that is the prosecutors, the Nigerian team, presented another witness called PW3, which the court classified as Mr. CCC. And Mr. CCC, again, was wearing mask. And remember, how can you say that anything that is being said by a witness wearing mask is like a masquerade? It's like a secret trial, a secret witness. How do you know whom he is? If he tells you he's Mr. A, how are you sure? Because we are not seeing his face. We don't know whom he is. So they brought another masked with masquerade. He has a masquerade in his face as witness PW3 or witness CCC. He took the stand into the witness box. Behind a screen, he was being hidden. He was being hidden. How would you believe such witness? So the third prosecution witness, Mr. CCC, he swore an oath to say the truth and began his testimony. He said, I work with the DSS, he told the court. I served for 27 years. So he's saying that he has worked for DSS for 27 years. That I know the defendant, Nnamdi Kanu, that he knows Nnamdi Kanu, that he is the founder and leader of IPOB, that Nnamdi Kanu is the founder and leader of IPOB, Indigenous People of Biafra, which is classified as a terrorist organization. This is the witness saying. He also founded Radio Biafra, through which he often incited violence. Now, this witness, Mr. CCC, is saying that he knew Nnamdi Kanu, that he's the founder of IPOB, classified as a terrorist organization. Nobody, not even the world, classified IPOB as a terrorist organization. It's just that the Nigerian government, even the Southeast governors that went to court and obtained that judgment without the legal counsel of IPOB being present. So IPOB is not a terrorist organization as we know it around the world. Number two, he also founded Radio Biafra, through which he often incited violence. No, he founded Radio Biafra to educate our people, to open the eyes of our people, to defend our people. And that's what Radio Biafra has been doing up to date. It's not to incite violence. It is to let the people know their rights. It's to let the people know that the boundary, the geographical location that they live in was an artificial creation by the Western powers, by Britain, that is not natural. The geographical location that we call Nigeria today, according to even Awolowo said that it's a mere geographical expression expressed by the partition of Africa in Berlin in 1884 to 1885 by the Western colonizers. That's what the radio is doing. That's what Nnamdi Kanu is doing on the radio, and not inciting violence. The witness continued and narrated that he first encountered Kanu in 2015 after his arrest, that he was assigned to interrogate him, and I did so in the presence of 3 other officers. So he was saying he was one of those that interrogated Nnamdi Kanu in 2015 with 3 other officers. I informed him that his interview will be recorded, and he agreed to both audio, visual, and written statements. So the interview is audio, which means you can hear with your ears, visual, you can see it with your eyes, and written, it is also written. So 3 forms of interview was done on that day. Audio, the one you hear with your ears, visual, the one you see with your eyes, and written, the one that was written by hand. The video interview took place on October 21, 2015, while the written statement was obtained in October 23, 2015. So the witness is saying that the video interview, the video of Nnamdi Kanu, where he was being interviewed on October 21st, 2015, and then the one that he wrote with his hand was on October 23, 2015. The prosecution then presented both the video recording and the written statement to the witness for identification. So after the witness said that, then the prosecution team brought that video and the written statement to the witness for that witness to see. So the late counsel of Nigerian government, which is the prosecutor, then brought that statement and the video for that witness to identify that, yes, this is it. So the witness confirmed them as authentic, that they are correct. Now, defense raises objection. So after that, the defense team of Nnamdi Kanu raised an objection. Raising an objection means saying, no, we don't agree to that written and video interviews. We don't agree with them. And so the defense raised an objection, claims statement was made under duress. So when the prosecution brought those video and written statements to the witness to confirm, after they confirm it, now the judge is supposed to accept it as evidence. Before that, the judge could accept it as an evidence. The Nnamdi Kanu defense team interjected and said no. They disagree with that. They said no, that the statements, both the written one and the video, was under duress. That is, was under by force, was forced, not voluntary. That's what they are saying. And so the defense said, at this point, the defense interjected. That is, the defense said no. Chief Kanu Agabi's team claimed that the statement presented by the prosecution was obtained under duress. We are saying the same thing. So the Nnamdi Kanu defense team, led by Kanu Agabi, said no to those videos and written statements, saying that they were brought under duress, by force. He was forced to write it. The defense continued, my lord, our client says he was coerced, he was forced, he was pressured. He made that statement under pressure, according to the defense. At that point, the judge said, Judge Omotoshona said, are you suggesting that all 3 statements were made involuntarily? Involuntarily means by force, by pressure, under duress, was conditioned to. That's what they mean, involuntarily. Can you prove it? Otherwise, this court we have to conduct a trial within trial to determine the voluntariness of these statements. So the judge was saying that if you are not sure that the 2 evidence, both the video and the written statements, were not provided by Nnamdi Kanu voluntarily, that the court we have to conduct a trial within trial. So conducting a trial within trial to determine whether Nnamdi Kanu voluntarily gave those statements or not. Then the judge then directed that the defendant write down the specific reasons why he considered the statements involuntary. So now Nnamdi Kanu was told to go and write down the reasons why he felt that those statements were not given to them voluntarily. So Nnamdi Kanu was given a sheet of paper, was handed to Nnamdi Kanu, and after a short moment, Paul Erokoro read the notes aloud. So at that point, Nnamdi Kanu was given a paper to write the reasons why he believed that those statements and videos that he made in 2015, he was forced to make those videos. He was forced to make those statements. So after he finished writing those statements, one of the Nnamdi Kanu defendants, in the name of Paul Erokoro, son, then read the notes aloud. Defendant's written note, this is what Nnamdi Kanu wrote. I requested for my lawyer, and the DSS refused. He requested for his lawyer, and the DSS refused. The man in the dock was not the one who interviewed me. It was a certain Mr. Brown. You see, that's what we've been saying. When somebody is coming in with a mask, how can you know whom he is? But Nnamdi Kanu was able to know that the person that is wearing that mask is not the person that interviewed him. And the person that interviews him is Mr. Brown. You see, he knew those that interviewed him. And he can tell that this man wearing mask is not the one it's not one of those that interviewed him. Nnamdi Kanu continued, I was kept in a dungeon with only 1 hour of airtime. He's kept in the dungeon only to come out only one time to get fresh air, only 1 hour in 24 hours to come and get fresh air, and they will take him back to the dungeon. Mr. Brown told me if I didn't write what they wanted, I will lose that 1 hour. You see how they force him? That if he didn't write what they want in that statement, if he didn't say what they want him to say in the video, that they will even deny him that 1 hour that they were allowing him before to come out for airtime, that he will stay in dungeon for 24 hours without even receiving fresh air. That's now the kind of continue. I was bleeding from the nose. He was bleeding. He was bleeding from his nose. I wrote some things under pressure. He said he wrote some of those things under pressure, which is true. We have to believe in Nnamdi Kanu because he's whiter than white and whiter than snow. He tells Africa the truth. He tells Igbo people the truth. He tells Nigerians the truth. That is why we say that in our title that Nnamdi Kanu IPOB is right and that Nigeria DSS are liars, are lying. Prosecution response: he was never beaten. The prosecution refuted the claims. Prosecution was saying that Nnamdi Kanu was never beaten. If he was not beaten, how was he having blood coming out from his nose? How? Then the prosecution refuted the claim. The prosecution now starts to say no to what Nnamdi Kanu said. That the prosecution is continuing now saying he was not beaten or threatened. He gave those statements willingly. So the prosecution is pushing, maintaining that Nnamdi Kanu gave the statements voluntarily. So to establish this, the court reclassified the same witness, Mr. CCC, as PW1-TAA for the purpose of trial within trial. So now the court wants to perform what they call trial within trial to determine whether Nnamdi Kanu gave those written statements and what he said in the video that they want the court to admit as evidence is true or not. And before we continue, we have to explain to you what trial within trial means. Trial within a trial is a legal procedure where a separate mini trial, that's a separate small trial, is conducted within the main trial to determine the admissibility of a particular piece of evidence or witness testimony. So you know that trial within trial is just to determine whether Nnamdi Kanu provided evidence, those written statements and video interviews voluntarily or not. It's trial within trial. It's not the main trial. It's just for the judge to know, to say, yes, Nnamdi Kanu was right, or no, the prosecution was right. It can go both ways, but it's just a trial within. So that is trial within trial. So trial within trial is a legal procedure where a separate mini means small trial is conducted within the main trial. The main trial is the main court that Nnamdi Kanu came for, to determine the admissibility, whether an evidence of a particular piece of evidence or witness testimony will be accepted as evidence in the trial. So this is common where, when questioning the voluntariness of a confession or the reliability of other evidence, it allows the courts to make the preliminary decision before the main trial continues. So this is what is called trial within trial. Trial within trial is just for the judge to decide whether Nnamdi Kanu gave that confessions, both written or in the video, voluntarily or not. That is what is called trial within trial. And I'll give you a few more instances again. The purposes of that trial within trial is for admissibility. When they say admissibility, is to for acceptance of evidence. Admissibility for the court to admit that as evidence. That is admissibility of evidence. The main purpose is to determine whether a piece of evidence, like a confession, can be used in the main trial. Whether Nnamdi Kanu provided the evidence voluntarily or not will be used in the main trial. Secondly, it can also be used in preliminary determination. Preliminary determination means it's a separate mini trial that happens before the main trial, allowing the judge to make a ruling on the evidence admissibility. They're saying the same thing. So that's what it is. So it's a mini trial. So let's go back to what went on. So in the mini trial, remember in the mini trial, they classified that witness as PW1 TAA. So cross-examination during the trial within trial. The prosecution proceeded to examine the witness PW1-TAA. Prosecution was asking the witness now, do you know the defendant? The witness said, yes, he is the leader of IPOB. Prosecution, do you know anyone named Mr. Brown? Witness, I don't recall that name. I conducted the interview with two other colleagues, James, Ibrahim, and Collins. Prosecution, did the defendant request a lawyer during the interrogation? Witness, he didn't ask me for one. He only said he need to rest. Now, if you say he need to rest, what does that mean? It means that he's tired. It means that he's exhausted. It means that he's irrational at that time, and he should be allowed time to refresh and get his lawyer before you continue that interview. You should have done that. If somebody tell you he needs a rest, you should have given him that rest. Prosecution. Was he in solitary confinement? PW witness. I'm not aware of that. In fact, in the video, he was given bottled water, not even sachet water. So I'm surprised by these claims. So now, giving the leader of 70 million people, giving the leader, Nnamdi Kanu, leader of 70 million Biafrans, a bottle of water is a big deal. So if nobody tell you, you will have given him pure water? Come on. So giving him sachet water, it's not a big deal. You should have given him energy water. Since he needed some rest, he's tired. You should have given him energy water. All right? Prosecution. Did he complain of ill health? Witness. I'm not a doctor, but he didn't say anything about being sick. Prosecution. Did you force him or put words in his mouth? Witness. Not at all. He made the statements willingly and even seemed relaxed. Prosecution. Did you instruct him to write anything about former President Jonathan? Witness. No, my lord. That's not true. And we have the video to prove that. Prosecution. May we play the video, my lord? Now, the prosecution wants to play the video of that interview they granted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Then the judge said, not yet. This is still a trial within trial. Let's stay within process. Before you play that video, the judge have to finish the trial within trial to determine whether that video will be accepted or not. You should know better and not rushing to play that video. Why are you rushing? Why you know that you are still in the trial within trial? You haven't come out of it and you are rushing, which means you know that what you are trying to do is wrong. Then, the matter was then adjourned to continue the trial within trial, where the court will determine the admissibility of statements. So the court then adjourned the trial until today. And that is where yesterday's trial came to an end. So in summary of yesterday's trial, they brought a new witness called CCC, and during the course of the interrogation, they want to present statements and a video from 2015. And then Nnamdi Kanu said, even that witness is not part of the people that interviewed him. And the defense team said that those videos was conducted under duress. And then the judge decided to have a trial within trial, which is a small trial, to determine whether Nnamdi Kanu gave those information voluntarily or not. And that's how the court case of yesterday ended. And in today's trial, nothing much has been going on. The judge came in, wanted to rule on that trial within trial. He took a 1 hour break. Everybody was in today. The Nigerian prosecutors, Awomolo was there. Nnamdi Kanu defense team was there, but the judge took a 1 hour break to rule on that trial within trial. And as we are still expecting the judge to come out to present his his ruling on that before the court will continue. But there are things that we need to explain to you about what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's wife said. According to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's wife, she said that my husband keep saying to the DSS operatives who kidnapped him and was interrogating him in the absence of his legal in the absence of his lawyers, that I need to speak to my wife. My wife is pregnant. They couldn't even allow Nnamdi Kanu at that time to speak to his wife, who was pregnant at that time. And also, according to Barrister Maxwell, one of the lawyers of Nnamdi Kanu, about accepting or obtaining a confessional statement. For you to accept a confessional statement, that confessional statement must be recorded in the presence of a lawyer, loved ones, or others to meet or to make it to qualify. Admissibility. Admissibility means for it to be accepted by as evidence. And this will be the first time to test Justice Omotosho. In this case, if those evidences was not brought, those interviews, those video interview and the written statements that the prosecution want to tender to the court as evidence, if they were not obtained in the presence of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu lawyers or his loved ones or any other somebody representing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, it should never be admitted in the court as evidence. So this will be the first test of Dr. Omotosho to know whether he will accept those statements and the video. If he accept those things, then we know that he's not going to give Nnamdi Kanu a fair trial. But if he says no, that since Nnamdi Kanu was not represented, no lawyer, no loved ones, no family member, no friend of Nnamdi Kanu was there during the video and written statements, and say no to that, then we have hope that maybe he can salvage. This may be the beginning of trying to salvage the image of Nigeria in their judiciary system, which many now see as corrupt and unreliable. And so it is very, very, very important that all Biafrans, wherever you are, that everybody is following up with this Nnamdi Kanu trial. Because remember, Harold Wilson, the prime minister of Great Britain during the Nigerian Biafran War, 1967 to 1970, said that they will not allow Biafra to be a nation. That even if 5 million people were killed, that they will not allow Biafra to be a nation. And in that war, we have about 9 million refugees. Remember, 3 to 7 million people were killed. Properties worth trillions of naira were lost by the Biafrans. And currently, we are having a lot of roadblocks, which are centers of extortion, intimidation, harassment of our people. Now we are being denied our rights. No infrastructure, no federal government presence in our land, no roads. Even when they want to do budget, they exclude us from the budget. Our youths are being jailed and killed across Nigeria. And so this is what Nnamdi Kanu is fighting for. And we don't have no rights. In the Nigerian setting now, an Igbo man is deceased. The one Kanu that is the is that deputy speaker. We don't have equal right. We cannot be president. We cannot be so many positions we cannot occupy in Nigeria. We don't have seaports. We don't have international airports. Just to mention a few. No federal hospital in our land. Now we have a report, a good report, today's ruling that Justice James Omotosho has ruled on the trial within trial in favor of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, stating that all video evidences of the defendant making oral statements or written statements as presented to the court by the prosecution team has been rejected by the court and consequently no longer relevant to this case. You see why the prosecution counsel was rushing to play that video? He was rushing to play that video with bad intention because they know that none of Nnamdi Kanu representatives were present during that interrogation. And that is why the presiding judge, Justice Omotosho, has seen the truth. Because like we said, Nnamdi Kanu is telling Igbo people, African people, Nigerian people, the world, the truth. Nnamdi Kanu is whiter than white and whiter than snow. And the judge has seen the light, has ruled in favor of Nnamdi Kanu that all video evidences of the defendant for Nnamdi Kanu making oral statements or written statements as presented by the lying DSS and Nigerian government has been rejected by the courts and are consequently no longer relevant. They can no longer use it in the case because they know that it came out of lie. The judge stated that the defendant's statements was made under duress and in the absence of his legal representatives. It is only the truth that will save the Igbo man, that will save Nigeria, that will save Africa, that will save the world. The judge dismissed the trial within trial case in favor of IPOB leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Here at Nkoloma Mahadum Wisdom University, we always stand on the truth. That's why you should be following us. Join and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and TikTok. Because everything we are presenting to you is being packaged and presented from Igbo man, from an African and Biafran perspectives, the way you should be seeing things. Because IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, what they are fighting is right. And every African, every Igbo man, every Biafran should support for the disintegration of the colonial boundaries imposed by the colonial masters on a table in Berlin, Germany, in 1884 to 1885 on our people. With that imposition, you have lost your lands and resources. You have lost your people. You are not in control. They are the one in control of our land. You should support it. Because without it, we shall be going nowhere. Hunger will remain in our land. Killing will remain. We continue to migrate to be slaves in foreign countries. And with this, we shall be bringing today's lecture to an end. Thank you very much for joining us today and have a very, very wonderful day. Thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.